Greetings everyone, and welcome to a brand new video on a brand new channel. And you knew what you were getting into, and if you didn't, well, you do now. So this is kind of the reason why I wanted to make a separate channel. Now the funny thing is, I'm probably going to be blurring out the bottom left of the screen for like copyright reasons. I figured I'd capture my whole desktop and just record that, edit it later, see how things go, see if you guys like seeing my whole like desktop. Because I've tried just recording in an art program before. Doesn't really work out so well. Also, you might notice that the line work's already done at this point. This is when I decided I wanted to make a video out of this. And I've thought of it before, and the logistics just didn't seem there, so I'm trying it out. This is sort of an experiment. Maybe there will be more to come, probably. Maybe you might want to consider not watching a bunch of my content, or you might mess up your recommendations. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, so what we have here, I'm doing a little trick here where I just use the line tool and I copy and paste it to do both sides of the staff. And I really wanted to go super lazy with the staff, but I was like, you know what, it's kind of important to kind of get this right. So yeah, you're going to see me jump cut to adding a bunch of detail to it, which I normally wouldn't do, but I'm trying to push myself to sort of do more art along the lines of my weaknesses. And yeah, I'm not the best artist around. I'm just going to put that out here. I'm probably going to review artists who are much, much better than me. Of course, with permission. I've already got permission from a few people. So yeah, those will be future videos, but I'm just going to come right out of the gate with this. This is going to be a Patreon exclusive piece because I decided to start up a Patreon. I really don't like doing what I'm doing for a living. I'd rather do creative things, whether it be art or writing or music. Ultimately though, I think art is what I have most fun with. Music, I have like the least, skill in, the least experience, but I do kind of respect them all sort of equally. Yeah, and yeah, we're adding a little bit of jewelry here. Now, I wanted a sort of gimmick where there's multiple variations with this one. And I went kind of overboard. There ends up being 64 variations in this one. And that's just because I simplified it a bit. What would it be, like 128 otherwise? Yeah, it would have been a disaster. But yeah, I don't know. I'm new to this sort of stuff, so this is sort of fun. Hopefully we can make it funny, you know? So it's less degenerate-y, you know? I mean, we're all degenerates here, but, you know, the more funny we can make things, the less it violates the community guidelines, I guess. Seems to be the way it goes. Seems to be exactly what the content guidelines say, but who can really trust those? YouTube kind of just picks and chooses. But yeah, no, I hope you guys enjoy this. I've had other art videos in the past, safe for work, obviously, but I was also much worse at art. I'm a bit faster now, but I'm still really slow. This one probably took me like, what was it, 12 hours or something, not including the sketch and the line work that I didn't record myself doing. And it took me double that, actually, because I had so many issues I had to work out that just sort of cropped up with this piece specifically. I don't know how they didn't crop up before, but somehow I was in a certain color space that didn't actually match what I was coloring, and I was saving in another different color space, which was way too dark. So it took me about 4 hours to figure out how to remedy that simple thing, because I didn't even know color spaces were a thing, because I'm not very techie, as it turns out. You know, I sort of just learn as I go, and that was my first time having an issue with that. So I was very confused for 3 hours, and I spent 1 hour fixing the problem. So it all worked out in the end, though. Any issues you see are just issues with the artist here. You know, I don't want to be too self-deprecating here, though. I know it kind of bugs people, even if I'm just joking around, because it is kind of frustrating, you know, for people who are just getting into art, you know, and most of us are pretty bad at it, but we do it because we really enjoy doing it. So to sort of undercut like all the time I've put into it, and I'm not talented, right? I've just put a lot of time into it, and I've tried to learn things. I'm still trying to learn basic things. You can see I'm looking at an eyeball here and sort of trying to replicate what I'm seeing here. I'd probably have to actually watch a tutorial, like a video tutorial, to get a grasp on how to do this sort of thing. I'm sort of just trying to draw what I see, and what I see isn't exactly like the proper technique to pull off the effect, you know. When you gain more understanding for things, it just sort of falls in line better. You sort of get the right ideas about things, and then think, wow, I was an idiot for doing it the wrong way before. So you're probably watching me do it the wrong way, or maybe I'm choosing completely wrong values, or I don't have enough contrast, or like I'm putting the lights in the wrong places. And for me, I can close my eyes and I can like picture how I want something to look, but really bringing it to the page takes a lot more work. It takes a lot more effort. I have to actually stop and critically think about it. Otherwise, it just looks like looks like no thought was put into it. I don't know. I don't have like an intuition about that, but I do have the ability to put the effort in and, you know, get a result that I find decent. And yeah, every year, maybe not day to day, but every year I do look at my art and I look back a bit and I go, yeah, I did get significantly better. Because if you see my stuff from 2016, it's abysmal. I can't get a clean line to save my life. My shadows are all flat. You see now, I try to use colors for shadows and stuff like that. And I'm going to get the colors quite wrong when I get to there. I'll talk about it when I get there. But yeah, I kind of like rendering out the eye separately from the rest of the image. You see, I've only gotten flats in here, but I'm trying to actually shade and light the eye. I don't know why, but like just sort of shiny surfaces that really stick out. I kind of want to get out of the way first. And you'll see that later with the armor and stuff like that. I sort of go into the shading. I shade those first. I guess because they probably have the most extreme values and it sets sort of a basis for the rest of the image. That being said, I'm going to screw it up anyways. And you kind of have to be careful because you can adjust the hue, the lighting, and everything after the fact, which is exactly what I'll do. But if you're not careful, you'll lose that sort of contrast you had before if you like bottom it out or top it out. It's kind of like clipping your audio. You just end up losing information that should be there, you know? So Yeah, I don't know. It's a learning process. It's pretty tough. And I love Krita. I've been using Krita for a long time now. I know a lot of people use Photoshop and prefer Photoshop, but I don't know. Krita's just been more intuitive for me. It has its issues for sure, but yeah, no, I found it way more user friendly, you know? I have a mixed feeling about the layers. You see, I have a million layer groups here. I, I get kind of OCD and over the top with my layers, which is kind of bad for my image space. It kind of eats up all all the space by the end of it. And Krita's bad for that. Every layer like just throttles your CPU. But yeah, I have a number of tricks with the layers, and they're not very what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile, like Photoshop. That's one thing I think Photoshop does better. Krita deliberately does it in a different way. But it kind of makes shading in increments, in like incremental layers, not really as viable, because you can't really blend the layers between each other. They just are separate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like that. I found out that that Krita actually does have a build option for brushes where like each stroke will build up on stuff. Oh yeah, and lovely here. just adding this in. So you might see that thing disappear because I've dealt with that now. But yeah, I don't know. I do overall prefer Krita over other art programs I've used. Does kind of vary from for what you're going for, what kind of look you're going for. But yeah, Krita's my favorite for sure. Not sponsored. It's free as well. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Oh boy, I'm really rusty with this whole commentary thing, aren't I? This is a really important part of the process. This probably takes me the most time too, is shading and lighting. And now I was getting kind of a flow with this, where you kind of pass over an area like 3 or 4 times, and by the 4th time you kind of get an idea of where you want the lighting to go. And I'm using a specific sort of textury, like smudgy brush with like bristly bits. And I think it works fantastic. I don't use like texture brushes. You'll see I use very sharp brushes, and then I'll just drag the lighting around with this brush, and it's worked better than anything else I've tried so far. And there's definitely room for improvement. Shading and lighting is definitely like my weakest bit of the drawing process, but yeah, no fun stuff all around. And yeah, I made the lighting way too intense, so you're gonna see me switch the layer style to something a bit softer, something a bit more saturated, because I kind of wanted the blue and black to go together. I kind of like the look of that. Even if it's a bit samey considering his clothing is blue, but I digress. Also, the lighting's kind of unrealistic. I try to sort of outline everything with like lighting or shadow to try to make it pop, you know? Just sort of try to cheat a pop, you know? If it looked super realistic, that would be rad, but yeah, no, I don't think that hard. And you'll see me doing the background in just a few layers here with texture brushes and a perspective guide. Trying out a whole bunch of new stuff because I just suck at backgrounds. And I actually find going for this loosey-goosey approach worked out way better than my usual, like, actually draw the background like it's a character approach. The loosey-goosey approach allowed me to sort of do what I did with the fur, where I zoomed out a bit and he's not tunnel visioning, not seeing the forest for the trees, rather. So yeah, here I'm just going to be adding some snow in. I decided to go with Targan, as you can see there, as my reference, and make it like a snowy setting. So yeah, and if you're interested, I was thinking of drawing Timo next. So I think that should be fun. But as you can see here, I'm going to spend a lot of time just working on the background. And actually, it wasn't a lot of time at all. It just seems longer because I'm cutting way less of it out. There will be a time lapse at the end where I just have the whole thing going really fast. And yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, I just wanted to show sort of a little bit of everything, talk about a little bit of everything. There was a lot to talk about. I figured if I'm going to be drawing, I should at least make some attempt at explaining what I'm doing. Especially to those who don't use Krita, it's not very clear. Yeah, a tiny bit of a learning curve. Yeah, but not too bad. So I'm just gonna fiddle with the snow a bit. I skipped my failed attempts at snow. Actually, I'm putting clouds in next. I'm just using gradients to try to get the sky looking how I want it. That's way too blue. And then I'll add clouds in. Now I'll have 2 goes at snow. I'll use a brush called Snow Texture that I don't like. Doesn't really look like snow at all. And then I'll switch it up for, I believe, like stars or something. I think it was like Starfield. Oh geez, I'm gonna have to blur that out for multiple reasons. My signature is actually pretty complicated, so I always use my older signatures as a reference when I'm doing my signature here. And yeah, this one's just a bit too real. so I'm gonna blur that out. People aren't gonna appreciate that one right now. Oh geez, it's hard getting the face shape right, getting the eyes in the right spot. I don't know why I made a character that was hard for me to draw. And I have to kind of draw him in every single image I do, because I sign him with a logo. So yeah, this is fun stuff. And maybe I'll do more of this. It's just a thing, you know. It's just a Curtis thing. It's a reference only 7.5 million people will get. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Monitor. I wanted you to shut off right at this moment. Yeah, whew. But we're nearing the end. We're going right into the time lapse. And yeah, I wish you guys the best and stay salty. Actually, quickly before I go, I almost forgot. I have to give shout outs to Calenteo and Nismo. Sorry I butchered your name. Even though you told me how to pronounce it, I still struggle with it. I'm sorry, but thank you for your generosity and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Jack is how I first got down. Pops got a job, moved to Fantasy Town. Checking BBS's for my wares and porn. Around this time, the mafia was born. Spending mad hours getting buff and lord. Get with the tavern hoe, show off my long sword. Couple years later, hit the hotline scene. Waiting in queue is where I never been seen. Got hooked up with